Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, July 8th, 2024. It's 9 a.m. right here in Tucson, Arizona, which means it is time for the Mindful Moment. I am Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I am the Senior Minister here at Unity of Tucson. Unity of Tucson, as I remind us every single time I see you, is an inclusive and loving spiritual center right here in Tucson, Arizona, where we gather together in spiritual community to teach the principles of new thought in order that we may master spiritual understanding, find a personal purpose, and develop a spiritual practice. So that's what we're here to do. This is part of my spiritual practice, this mindful moment. And I choose to do this every single Monday through Thursday as a way of keeping myself consistent in my spiritual practice, because what I have found is that consistency in my spiritual practice has enhanced the quality of my life. And so I'm going to keep doing it as long as it makes my life better. And I can't imagine that it would not ever, I can't imagine a way that it would make my life worse. So this works for me. What works for you? Whether you're watching live or on the replay, I would love for you to post a comment. Let me know that you're here. I always love to see those comments come through. And, you know, I am live these days. So when I've moved back inside, I went back to doing sort of always being live, which, you know, I was live and then I was like doing pre-record, and I kind of do a mix, just so you know. But I do see your comments as they come through, and I'm always grateful to see those comments. I will remind you, ready for the reminder? You are love, you are light, you are life, you are magnificent. And I am grateful that you are sharing your magnificence with not just me, but with the whole world. And you know how you share your magnificence with the whole world? By being your authentic self. And so thank you for doing that. I was thinking, as I was saying, you are light, you are life, you are love. I was thinking about yesterday when I mentioned in my talk, you know, that phrase that we've all heard, the two most powerful words in the English language are I am, because whatever you put after that becomes your reality. And so when I say you are, those are powerful as well. Can you accept those by making I am statements out of them? As I say, you are light, do you hear yourself saying, I am light? You are life. I am life. You are love. I am love. Can you hear yourself saying those things? That feels good. That feels good. So this is the month of imagination. We, in Sunday celebration yesterday, we talked about imagination being the theme for the month of July. That's the theme that we've chosen here to explore and look at. And one of the ways that I think sometimes we can get stuck is when we are utilizing our imagination in detrimental ways. And one of the most significant ways that we can utilize our imagination in detrimental ways is by always looking for the way things can go wrong. And I think that there is there's a little bit of a socialization that we go through that teaches us that that's the way it should be. We should, you know, we've always got to look for the worst case scenario, because then we're protecting ourselves. And I don't necessarily know that that's actually the way we should be approaching life. What if we collectively, everybody all over, decided to start living with the paradigm, what if it all goes right? What if it all works out? What would life be like? You know, and it all begins right where we are. We can, each and every one of us, be a beacon for that fundamental shift in consciousness, to start living life from the point of view of what if it all works out? What if it all goes right? Rather than limiting ourselves into the what if it all goes wrong. Because here's the thing, if we're living that, the what if it all goes wrong paradigm is a paradigm of fear. And I want to be really clear. I'm going to be totally honest with you and say, listen, I still do this myself. I'm still like in the process of like running a business and doing the things that I do in my life. Sometimes I'm still like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? But I actively work to change that paradigm as frequently as possible. So I wanted to share that with you to say, let's collectively make a determination today, and let's just make it for today. Let's not worry about tomorrow. Let's make it for today. Let's make it for this moment and each subsequent moment throughout the rest of this day. So when we go to sleep tonight, we can, each and every one of us, decide and realize that every interaction, every decision was rooted in the paradigm. What if it all goes right? And see what happens with our day. And if we are feeling compelled to look at it from the other side, oh, what if it all goes wrong? To stop ourselves in that moment, to actively stop ourselves in that moment and say, you know what? I don't need to consider what might go wrong. I'm going to assume and live in the paradigm. What if it all goes right? What if it all goes right? What would life be like? What would happen? Willing to make that choice with me today? I'm delighted if you are. And if you're not, that's okay too. But I'm just going to say, hey, let's be on this journey together. I'm going to invite us all to relax right where we are, right where we are, as I take us into the practice of affirmative prayer. If it is safe and comfortable for you to close your eyes, please feel free to do so. I'm going to mute my microphone because I'm about to sneeze. I'm sure that looks really funny when I mute my microphone and then I sneeze, but you don't need to hear me sneeze. All right, let's relax. Just taking a breath, taking it in, taking the opportunity to allow, to settle in, relax, allow ease, allow grace, to release any unnecessary physical tension, let go of any unnecessary mental tension, rooting ourselves in the here and now, releasing the past, letting go of the future. Let us be right here, right now. And it is right here, right now, that I open in my awareness to a realization of the one infinite power and presence, which is all there is. I utilize language in order to name this power, this presence. And so I choose to name it God, this greatness on demand, this good orderly direction. But it is beyond language, it is beyond words. And so I choose to unlimit and unbox the concepts of this divine presence and power that I have perhaps adopted. I let go and I open up more and more. I let myself be open to the more in the realization that God is. And in this realization that God is, I also understand and choose to know that if God is all there is, then there is nothing separate from this divine presence and power. There is nothing separate from this creative energy. There is nothing separate from. And so we are, each and every one of us, that power. We are the power of creativity, of infinite creativity flowing forth into expression at all times. We are the focal point of God as us, flowing forth into expression. And we utilize this creative power, this infinite creative power, in an individualized way to create our lives. And so I call for my life to be rooted in the positive, the constructive, the loving, to be rooted in the question, what if it all works out? What if it's all right? What if everything is unfolding perfectly, easily, and effortlessly? What if it all goes right? I let myself be rooted in this paradigm and I allow it to take hold of the outflow of my experience, expression for the rest of this day and every subsequent day. But today I choose to focus just on this day. What if it all works out? What if it all goes right? And I allow the unfoldment without getting in the way to see the manner in which God is letting itself be known from that point of view? What if it all works out? And so, with gratitude and appreciation, I simply allow this unfoldment. I let go, I trust, I know, and affirm this as so by saying, and so it is. Amen. Hmm. Hmm. I am always grateful for this time we've spent together. And Audrey, I do see your question there. I just want to hold on. If a person has fears in sharing their authentic self due to behaviors of a lifestyle lived fearing judgment of family and friends, family judgments, so they choose not to disclose, is that living their authentic self due to fear? Is that being living their authentic self? Well, I have my own relationship to this very notion. What I can say is that I found in my own life that, sorry, I have to get a tissue after that sneeze. What I have found is that in my life got better. My life got easier when I chose not to hide from the authentic self that I am. And as you know, that's me coming out of the closet. I imagine you would know that, me coming out of the closet, living life openly, as a gay man, and I think the challenge is we sometimes give far too much power to our family and friends to dictate the way we should be. And the hard thing is that as a society, I'm kind of going off on a tangent now. The hard thing is, as a society, I think sometimes we prioritize other people's feelings over our own in a way that is detrimental to living our authentic life. Um, what I have found is that the people that I thought would be contrary in my life to me living openly my authentic self, um, actually have learned, because what they realized is that they hadn't had a personal experience with someone to the degree that they were having it with me as someone in their family. And so I've watched transformations in my own family because I lived my life authentically, because I lived my life out loud, and because I stepped away from fearing judgment. And if they were not willing, here's the thing that I was willing to do, if they were not willing to acknowledge, accept, and celebrate me living my authentic life, then they had no place in my life. And that's hard for a lot of people. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to leave this this live stream now, kind of with that hanging in the air. But as Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And if someone, whether they are a genetically related relative or somebody that has been in your life, if they are not celebrating you in the way that you would choose to celebrate them, they have no place in your life. And sometimes we need to walk away from those people. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to deny that. So something to think about as the day unfolds. And it goes right in line with the question I was saying today. What if it all works out? What I found is that when I came out of the closet, it all worked out. There was little basis in the fear that I had of rejection, and there was little basis in the fear that I had of being judged, and the judgments that did present themselves. I had the opportunity to invite conversation that alleviated those judgments from their minds. So that's the power that we have by living our authentic self. And each and every one of us living our authentic selves, living out loud, living out proud. And it's not just related to being, in the alphabet group. I don't know what to call it. Leviticua, whatever we want to call it. Just living our authenticity in whatever way is our authentic nature. Just being is hard sometimes for people. And so live your authentic self. There is no reason to hide away ever, under any circumstance, I don't think. That's where I stand. Anyway, I don't know if that answered your question. It was a little bit of a tangent there after the prayer, and I'm grateful for the question, and I look forward to, how this continues to unfold. Peace and blessings to you. I'm going to log off now. Peace and blessings to you as we say goodbye. I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the mindful moment right here. Wherever you're watching, I will be available, and always great to see you. Share this with friends. Let people know that this is happening, because there's an interesting thing happening, I think, in the social media algorithms where I'm not getting as much viewership as I was at a time. The numbers have gone way down, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's funny things that happen in the social media world. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow at 9. Peace and blessings to you. Bye.